Hotline Miami isn't just about neon-soaked violence, pixelated gore, or one of the best soundtracks in gaming, even though it's got a banging soundtrack. It's about addiction, not to drugs, not to money, but to violence itself. And at the center of it all is Jacket, a quiet, broken man who can't let go of his past. Before the bloodshed in Miami, Jacket fought in a fictional war between America and Russia, a war that scarred him for life. His closest friend, Beard, a fellow soldier, dreamed of something simple after the war, a deli, a quiet life, a fresh start. But that dream doesn't last. And Beard doesn't make it to the end of the story. We'll get to how and why later, but what matters is that his death leaves Jacket hollow. And when you're hollow, violence starts to feel like a way to fill the void. That's why Hotline Miami isn't just a fast-paced action game. It's a tragedy about how grief curdles into rage, how rage hardens into habit, and how habit rots into something worse. Addiction. So, let's dive into the dreams, the masks, the Russians, the phone calls, and the cycle of violence that consumes Jacket one body at a time. Welcome to Hotline Miami. The first thing Hotline Miami gives us isn't a mission, it's a dream. A warning about the hollow man we're about to follow. You're locked in a dingy room. 3 masks greet you. A horse, an owl, a rooster. Each one tells you something different about yourself. Compassion, hatred, and a hollow calm. Only later do you realize it's Jacket's fractured psyche speaking back to him. From the very beginning, the game tells us what the story is really about. Jacket isn't in control. He's fractured, broken, already haunted. Then he wakes up. The phone rings, and the killing starts. Every call is the same. Faceless, coded instructions. A job. And Jacket never asks why. The phone calls never explain themselves. Just coded instructions. Someone needs you to do a job. And Jacket does it. Without hesitation. You kick down doors, storm nightclubs, clear apartments, and you kill everyone inside. Baseball bats, knives, shotguns, whatever's at hand. One hit, restart. One mistake, restart. Over and over until the floor is finally clean. The game feeds you violence like a dealer handing out hits. Call after call, run after run. The music pulses, the screen shakes, the score ticks higher. For a moment, you feel unstoppable. And then, the track ends. No more pulsing bass, just silence, corpses, and the sound of your own footsteps. Do you still feel powerful, or just empty? That emptiness is the hook. It's what makes you and Jacket pick up the phone again. Hotline Miami doesn't just show you violence, it wires it straight into your hands. The loop is deceptively simple. The phone rings, you step into a building, and when you step out, everyone inside is dead. But how it plays is what makes it unforgettable. Levels are tight, fast, and merciless. Rooms packed with mobsters, guard dogs, and shotguns waiting behind every corner. You slam doors into faces, cave skulls in with pipes, and paint walls red with buckshot. It's twitch quick. One mistake, and you're dead. One clean combo, and you feel unstoppable. And then, there's the rhythm. The music pounds during the chaos, pushing you forward like a pulse you can't escape. The second that last body drops, the soundtrack cuts. Silence. Just your footsteps, retracing the path through the corpses you left behind. The high is over, and all that's left is the crash. First time Jacket kills somebody who isn't Russian, which, by the way, we're killing Russians, kinda big deal. The game makes sure you notice. A homeless man corners him in an alley, threatening to kill him if he doesn't leave. Jacket kills him first. And then something strange happens. Jacket actually reacts. Not after dozens of mobsters, not after pools of blood, but this. This makes him vomit. Why? Because the hobo isn't an enemy. He isn't part of a story Jacket's telling himself about the Russians. He's just a man. Jacket without a mask. Starving, forgotten, stripped of purpose. Killing him feels too close to home, and for one brief moment, the cycle cracks. But like every addict, Jacket doesn't stop. He pukes, wipes his mouth, and answers the phone again. Between killings, Jacket keeps meeting the same man, Beard. At a pizza shop, at a bar, at a deli. Always smiling, always handing him food or drinks, always telling him it's on the house. He's the only one who talks to Jacket like he's human, not a weapon. Beard feels like an anchor, the only piece of stability Jacket has left. A friendly face in a world of corpses. But none of it's real. He's Jacket's mind clinging to memory, replaying the only person who ever made him feel normal. And the fact that Beard keeps changing, from a bartender, chef, clerk, only makes it clearer. He's an echo, not a man. Every high needs a calm down, and Beard is the fantasy Jacket clings to when the blood dries. Beard was never real, just memory replayed as comfort. But woman, she is real. Flesh and blood, and that's what makes what happens next feel like a true turning point. Jacket storms a film set, run by the mob. Cameras are rolling, a woman lies in bed, broken, resigned. She tells Jacket just to get it over with, to kill her. And instead, he saves her. The game even primes you for it. You're used to finishing a level by killing the final enemy. And here, you're prompted to walk towards her. Every cue makes you think she's next. Another faceless victim. Another body for the pile. Instead, Jacket picks her up. Carries her out, quietly, without blood. Were you expecting another kill? Another body for the pile? Or did it catch you off guard when Jacket chose to save her instead? For a brief moment, it feels like he could change. That maybe the violence hasn't fully consumed him. But addiction doesn't let go that easily. The woman moves in with Jacket. She softens his world, cleaning his apartment, chilling on his couch, taking baths. A fragile domesticity takes shape. For the first time, Jacket's apartment feels like more than a holding cell between killings. She isn't a cure. She's a pause, a brief distraction from the ringing phone. But pauses end, and Jacket keeps answering. Across missions, Jacket keeps running into others like him. Vigilantes chasing the same high. Some already dead when he arrives, others barely clinging to life. Rambling about how it's all a dream, how nothing makes sense. One is wired to C4. Jacket doesn't even look for another option. He shoots, killing him instantly. Now tell me, did you even try to save him? Or did you revel in the chance to cause chaos on a larger scale? Another, bleeding out in the sewers, mutters that it's all a dream, like I mentioned already. Jacket steps over him without a glance. Because addiction blinds you. Their pain doesn't stop you, it just makes you feel more alone. You clear another building, another mob hideout, but this time, the phone rings inside. A call from somewhere else. It doesn't send you home, it sends you across town. Another address, another job, another target. And that's when you meet him, the biker. Unlike Jacket, biker talks. He questions. He wants to know who's behind the phone calls, why they're doing this, what the truth actually is. His obsession is opposite of Jacket's silence. He's what Jacket could be, if he chose reflection over compulsion. The game makes sure you feel the difference. The fight isn't like anything before. No one-hit kills, no faceless mobsters, dodging blades, trading blows, golf clubs crashing down. It feels like Jacket has finally met his equal, another addict but hooked on something else entirely. Jacket's drug is violence, bikers is truth. And when it's over, only one survives. In the player's hands, it's always Jacket. The cycle insists. The addict wins. The biker dies believing he was close to the truth. Jacket doesn't care. For him, the violence was the point. The why never mattered. Curiosity dies. Control dies. All that's left is the next hit. With biker gone, so is the last voice asking why. In that silence, the only voices left are the ones inside Jacket's head. As Jacket spirals deeper, the dreams don't just return. They get louder. The horse pleads with him to rest. The owl hurls insults. The rooster waits, calm but insistent, pressing the truths Jacket refuses to face. Every cycle, every mask, every word bleeds together. The loop closes in. But addicts don't stop when they're warned. They rationalize. They tell themselves it's fine, that they're in control. So Jacket does the only thing he knows how to do. He ignores it. He kills again. But this time, the cycle doesn't play out the same. In the middle of another massacre, the wolves close in from the outside. You're midway through another bloodbath when sirens wail outside. Windows shatter as SWAT rappel in. Snipers scanning from the streets below. For once, Jacket isn't untouchable. He ducks through broken glass, weaving between laser sights, sprinting past, collapsing, cover, just to make it out alive. But the SWAT raid wasn't the end. Days later, after another blood-soaked run, the cycle ambushes him again. You clear the last room, the music dies. You start the slow walk back to the car, past bodies, past broken glass, when an engine screams from off-screen. A van fishtails through the front entrance, side door slams open, and goons spill out. From the roof, a coward hurls molotovs and bright orange arcs. It's one of Hotline Miami's nastiest jump scares. Sudden, loud, violent. Jacket doesn't freeze. He dismantles them piece by piece. The men, the flame. The thrower climbs down, hands up. Jacket burns him alive, then keeps walking. Because addiction doesn't wait for your consent. It comes for you mid-step, mid-breath. You answer without thinking. Jacket doesn't hesitate. He never does. But even addicts can't outrun consequences forever. The next time Jacket comes home, the violence has finally beaten him there. Jacket comes home one night to find his apartment wrecked. His girlfriend dead in the bathroom, and the man who killed her waiting calmly on the couch. A brief interaction occurs, and, without any warning, he shoots Jacket point blank. Game over. Except not. We restart. Jacket rises again, but this time, it's different. His body broken, his mind fractured, his cycle interrupted, not by choice, but by force. And here lies the biggest tragedy of it all. He lost somebody close to him. He lost his girlfriend. It isn't just that Jacket lost her, it's that she was collateral in its cycle that was never hers. Addiction doesn't just destroy the addict, it tears apart the people closest to them. And then, in the quiet that follows, the rooster returns. He tells Jacket what he's refused to hear all along, that nothing matters, that everything that happens was his own fault, that he's the one who pulled the trigger every time. It's not the Russians, it's not the phone calls, it's him. And the cruelest truth is this: people Jacket clings to, the woman, Beard, none of them are coming back. Violence doesn't heal a loss, it multiplies it. After Jacket gets shot, the truth finally unravels. Everything we've seen, Beard, the bar, the deli, the pizza shop, it wasn't real. It was Jacket's coma dream. His mind scrambling to make sense of trauma whilst his body was broken. That's why Beard kept appearing in different jobs, always smiling, because he was never there. When Jacket wakes up in the hospital, reality crashes back in. We overhear a cop talking about Richter, the man who killed Jacket's girlfriend and shot Jacket, being held at a nearby police station, and that becomes Jacket's next target. What follows is one of Hotline Miami's darkest sequences. 3 floors of police officers, gunned down and bludgeoned like they were mobsters. You slam doors into riot shields, you rip shotguns from fallen hands, and retrace the same loop you always have. The only difference is the uniform. Blue instead of suits. But to Jacket, to an addict, it doesn't matter. Violence is violence. Then, at the top, Richter. He's not defiant. He's not even armed. Jacket beats him. Richter ends up being bloodied, yet unafraid. He apologizes. He admits he doesn't know who's behind the calls. He's as lost as Jacket. Just another pawn, another addict answering the same voices. And here, for the first time, the game hands you a choice. Do you kill him, or do you spare him? It doesn't matter to Jacket. His choices were made long ago, as the rooster man said, but it matters to you. Do you keep killing, same as always, or do you finally stop, even for one man? Because for one brief moment, the cycle isn't Jacket's, it's yours. Coma wasn't just a pause in Jacket's story. It was the mask his mind built to protect him from the truth. And here's that truth. Beard doesn't make it to the end of his story. He never did. When the war ended, Beard tried to move on. He wanted nothing more than to build a quiet corner of peace for himself. But the world was burning. The global tensions peaked, and Russia dropped a nuclear bomb on San Francisco. That deli, that dream, that fragile attempt of normalcy, gone in an instant. That's why Jacket kept seeing him everywhere. At bars, at pizza joints, behind every counter. Beard wasn't there, he was gone. It was Jacket's coma filling the hollow, dressing his grief in illusions, because he couldn't face the truth. Beard wasn't weak, he wasn't swallowed by the cycle. He did what Jacket couldn't. He tried to move on. But the world didn't let him. And that's the hollow at the center of Jacket's story. He isn't killing Russians because of the phone calls. He's killing them because their existence reminds him of what he lost. Because violence is the one place where he feels in control of a world that took everything from him. This is what makes Hotline Miami sting more than pixel violence. It isn't random. It's grief sharpening into rage, rage hardening into ritual, and ritual mutating into something darker still. Violence is Jacket's drug, and Miami is his dealer. Eventually, Jacket claws his way back into the cycle. He storms a mob boss's mansion, guns down his way through, finds an old Russian man in a wheelchair. A last link in the chain. The boss doesn't beg. He reflects on the weight of everything he's done, the violence, the lives lost, and then lets it go with one line. Nothing seems to matter. Jacket kills him, steps onto the balcony, lights a cigarette, pulls out a photo from his pocket that he's been carrying all this time, and drops it into the wind. After everything that we've been through, did the blood make it better? Because that's addiction. It doesn't end with a bang or with answers. It ends in silence, in the hollow, until the next hit. Beard tried to leave it behind. Jacket couldn't, and because he couldn't, his girlfriend paid the price for it. Hotline Miami is brutal. It's stylish, it's fun, but beneath all of that, it's about something deeply uncomfortable. Addiction. A man who couldn't let go of grief, who tried to fill his hollow self with blood, who clung to illusions of Beard because he couldn't face the truth of his death. It's about how grief festers, how it twists into rage, and calcifies into habit, until violence feels like the only way to keep going. And it's about how that cycle never really ends. This is Hotline Miami, a story about a man who traded grief for blood, who tried to mask trauma with masks, and who ultimately shows us that violence isn't just destructive, it's addictive. So, when the phone rings again, do you answer?